Two old man winter hits Montana. Cold and some flurries here, but other parts of the state in the midst of a true snowstorm. We'll show you. Plus, on the campaign trail.
I have a vision for this community, and I'm going to put it out there and see if the voters agree.
From city council to the mayor's office, tonight we'll preview the first of 4 candidates. And emotional reunions filled with tears, excitement, and relief.
This is not only the end of a war. This is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God.
Israeli hostages embrace their families after more than 2 years in Hamas captivity. The MTN 430 news starts right now. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on this Monday. I'm Russ Riesinger. For the first time in months, Billings saw some snow flurries today. It's not cold enough to stick around in the Magic City yet, but several other areas are covered in snow right now. Some treacherous driving conditions today across parts of Montana as the McDonald Pass is looking more like an ice rink today. Meanwhile, the Lewistown Divide is seeing wet roads in snow-covered areas as well. Lincoln, Montana, also looking a lot more like December right now. And Butte was greeted with several inches of fresh powder this morning. Some of the higher elevations seeing up to a foot of snow from the system. A little bit of a different story here in Billings. With a first look at the weather now, here's Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh.
We'll jump right in with our satellite radar mix where you can see some persistent snow here as we start looking, especially in north central Montana along the High Line around Havre, extending down towards Great Falls, and then a bit north of Helena as well. Could have some persistent snow there in the short term. It's a different situation into the eastern plains where we've been holding on to some low clouds. Temperatures are anywhere from the 20s, 30s to 40s across Montana. Of course, the colder temperatures, we're seeing some of those accumulations just kind of hovering in the 30s. From Lewistown all the way up towards areas like Cut Bank where it's only 29 degrees, 35 at the Billings airport a few minutes ago. Compared to where we were yesterday, Billings right now sitting 15 degrees colder than the same time on Sunday.
Meanwhile, a nor'easter is lashing coastal communities from the Carolinas to New England with heavy rain, strong winds, and dangerous waves. Tens of thousands of customers lost power up and down the East Coast. The National Weather Service recorded winds topping 60 miles per hour in New Jersey, which is under a state of emergency, along with portions of New York State. The storm flooded roads across the region, leaving dozens of flights delayed or canceled.
Delayed 74 minutes, but we're expecting more delays.
I got a deck of cards. We're going to play gin rummy and maybe hearts, and we're just going to act like we were hanging out like we were earlier.
The nor'easter is on track to move out to sea tonight. Well, today we're previewing the first of 4 candidates for Billings mayor. We begin with Jennifer Owen, a 5th-generation Billings resident and current Ward 2 city council member. She's also a single mother and longtime advocate for children in her community. Andrea Lutz sat down with her to find out more about her vision for the city if she's elected.
An ordinance can be written.
You're probably used to seeing Jennifer Owen asking the tough questions every Monday night in City Council.
It would ensure we don't have an unnecessary barrier that will.
But this is the side you don't often see. Special moments with her son.
There's no place I'd rather raise my son.
Owen envisions a Billings where neighborhoods are safe and families thrive.
That's what I want for him. I want that opportunity to grow up and be a little wild in the summers and weekends, experience a community that really cares about its future.
A lawyer by trade, she served as a guardian for children in the welfare system, but now is leading the state workforce innovation board.
But I really wanted to be a problem solver, so I came in with that mindset.
A mindset she carries to council, but she's ready to take the next step.
I have a vision for this community, and I'm going to put it out there and see if the voters agree.
That vision includes strong leadership and community involvement.
I think this is an inflection point for the city of Billings, quite honestly. We are seeing huge investment come into the city. The Intermountain Project, the Downtown Hotel Project, the Rec Center at Amen Park. I mean, we really have a lot of good things happening. And we're faced with a choice, right? Do we lead in the direction of our values, create the kind of community that meets our biggest aspirations, or do we just let change happen to us?
Transparency is one of her top priorities.
This is the government that impacts us every single day. It's the one where people can have the loudest and most impactful voice. And so I want to put those issues out to the public so that they feel like they can engage and have a voice and understand what's going on.
Public safety is another.
Like everybody, I'm frustrated with where we are on public safety. The taxpayers in this community have been very generous in putting additional resources in, and we've used those resources to hire more police, to hire more attorneys. But there's systems work that has to get done. Our courts have to be more efficient. We need to support the county commissioners in expanding the jail. There's big things that still have to happen.
And she wants to make sure everyone has a seat at the table.
That opportunity to be a voice, to say, here's where we want to go, here's the vision.
As a single mother and advocate, Owen says her motivation is personal.
I'm a mom. I do a lot of volunteer work. Had the real privilege to work with some of the most vulnerable children in our community. And I bring those things with me when I come to work.
Owen says she understands the realities facing Billings families, from taxes to economic uncertainty. She wants to make sure city government does too.
I want this to be the best place to raise a family, the best place for a child to grow up, because then I think everything else sorts itself out.
In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
And we'll continue our mayoral candidates tomorrow with Mike Nelson. Well, Vice President J.D. Vance is warning of deeper cuts to the federal workforce as the government shutdown continues. Vance said the new cuts would be painful, but the administration is working to ensure military pay and some services for low-income Americans. Hundreds of thousands of workers have already been furloughed. The White House said well over 4,000 employees would soon be fired. After 2 years of war, the remaining living Israeli hostages are now back in Israel, and the fighting in Gaza has stopped as part of a peace plan. A deal brokered in part by President Trump and his administration, with the president delivering remarks in Israel today. Erica Brown has the latest.
Emotional reunions filled with tears, excitement, and relief as the released Israeli hostages embrace their families after more than 2 years in Hamas captivity. President Trump, who helped broker the peace plan, addressed Israel's parliament Monday, receiving a standing ovation, and called the moment the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
This is not only the end of a war. This is the end of an age of terror and death, and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God.
As part of the deal, nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners were returned to the West Bank and Gaza, greeted by crowds of supporters. Then in Egypt, President Trump led a ceremonial signing of the agreement, which also calls for a surge of humanitarian aid into Gaza. Leaders from more than 20 nations joined President Trump for a summit to discuss the next phases of the peace deal, but representatives from Israel and Hamas did not attend.
For the people of Gaza, the focus now must be on restoring the basics of a good life. We're going to have a lot of money coming into Gaza and a lot of rebuilding and building. It's not so much rebuilding, it's really building.
Other major hurdles ahead include who will govern Gaza and disarming Hamas. But today, many are celebrating reunions with loved ones and the step toward peace. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
China is calling for the U.S. to withdraw President Trump's threat of a 100% tariff. Trump announced the new tariff threat in the latest escalation of the ongoing trade war. China last week placed stricter restrictions on rare earths, a vital resource used in electronics. Trump seemed more conciliatory yesterday, but did not withdraw his tariff threat. Economic indicators show the uncertainty is impacting trade between the two nations, also led to the stock market's biggest drop in 6 months last Friday. Popular lodging fixture in Red Lodge is undergoing a major change, and not everyone's happy about it. The Chateau Rouge, which for a long time has operated as a motel, is being transformed into a condominium-style apartments. The building will operate as an HOA, with each owner deciding what to do with their individual unit. It's a move that will bring more living spaces to the resort town, but as Hannah Pettiferri found out, some fear it will only add fuel to a growing trend.
It's great, and then it's also not great.
It's a place few people live, but many go to visit.
We enjoy that people have the opportunity to come to Red Lodge, that our non-residents.
In the heart of Red Lodge, you'll find neighborhoods with vacation rentals.
Red Lodge is very much a tourism-based economy, and vacation rentals play a significant part of that.
Mayor Dave Westwood says the city does have a cap on rental properties, but there is room to grow.
Council passed a cap on vacation rentals at 20%. Right now, we're just under 11%, right around 200 vacation rentals.
The Chateau Rouge is one of many destinations for out-of-towners, where each unit has always been owned individually.
All the units have always been individually owned and decorated by the owners, but rented like a motel room.
But they recently steered away from the typical motel model.
As of October 1st, they've done away with that model and gone to straight condominiums. So as a condominium, they can be used as short-term rentals, long-term rentals. You could live here. You could do what you want with your own unit.
Sandy Conley is one realtor for the Chateau Rouge, and she says there are advantages to this.
The advantage is you can do what you want with the unit. The value of your condo has gone up because if you can use it long-term, it'll end up being very inexpensive compared to other condominiums in Red Lodge.
It's also good for business. General Manager Michael Downey at Red Lodge Pizza says Red Lodge thrives off tourism.
Red Lodge would not be the town that it is without the tourism.
But with vacation rentals, he says it makes it difficult for those that want to live there full time.
The housing market here is a difficult one. There's not a whole lot of options out there, and a lot of the people that have come and bought a home here are just renting them out as Airbnbs.
In Red Lodge, Hannah Pettiferry, MTN News.